In the previous lecture, we have discussed the first postulate of quantum mechanics. Actually, the first postulate of quantum mechanics was related to the state of a system. Now we are going to discuss the second postulate of quantum mechanics, which is actually related to observables and operators. You know, all measurable quantities are called observables or dynamical variables. In fact, according to the second postulate of quantum mechanics, to every observable A, there corresponds a linear Hermitian operator A hat. And these operators A hat have eigenvectors which form a complete basis. This is actually the statement of the second postulate of observables and operators. Now we will see what actually this second postulate of quantum mechanics states. When you say that every observable or dynamical variable corresponds a linear Hermitian operator, then what actually we mean to say? So let us see its explanation. You know, in classical mechanics, we have encountered the physical quantities like position, velocity, linear momentum, angular momentum, kinetic energy, potential energy, and total energy. Since the attributes we are interested to know about the quantum system are more or less same as what we wanted to know about the classical system. So these physical quantities are important in quantum mechanics too. But a question arises: how do we represent these observables mathematically, and how do we find their values are different in quantum system as compared to the classical system? Because observables in both classical and quantum mechanics are same, and those are position, velocity, linear momentum, angular momentum, kinetic energy, potential energy, and total energy. But representation of these variables are not same in classical mechanics and in quantum mechanics. In fact, as you have learned in the statement of the second postulate of quantum mechanics, which I have just stated here, that in quantum mechanics, to every observable we associate linear Hermitian operator whose eigenvectors form the complete basis. When you say that every observable is associated with a Hermitian operator, and that Hermitian operator form the complete basis, what does it mean? Actually, it means when you say that the eigenvectors of Hermitian operators associated with observables form a complete basis, it means that any state vector, let us say ket psi, can be uniquely expressed as a linear combination of the state vectors. So you may write that ket psi is equal to C1 ket psi 1 plus C2 ket psi 2 plus so on plus Cn ket psi n. And here you can see this ket psi I is the eigenvector, and all these psi i's form the complete basis. So this is actually the second postulate of the quantum mechanics. Now let us see some important examples, and we will also see how we can find the operator corresponding to a given observable. But first of all, let us see an important example actually which we have already learned in the previous lectures. So for an example, you have learned already that the position representation of linear momentum operator is how defined. So position representation of linear momentum operator is given as, we denote the linear momentum operator by capital P hat, and in 3 dimension this is defined as minus IH cross del, or you may write it as H cross over I del. Actually this is in 3-dimensional space, 3D space. If we consider the 3-dimensional space, then actually this momentum operator is a linear, or you can say linear momentum operator is defined in this manner. This is actually the position representation of this operator. And if we want to define the 1-dimensional equivalent of this momentum operator, then it is defined as P hat equal to minus IH cross del x, or equivalently you can write it as H cross over I del x. This is actually the momentum operator representation in position space when the space is 1-dimensional. So this is in case of 1D space. Now actually we want to find how the operator associated with a dynamical variable can be found in quantum mechanics. In fact, in general, any function, let us consider f of r and p, which depends on the position and momentum variables, which is in fact r and p, can be represented in quantum mechanics by simply replacing the position r and the momentum p with their corresponding operators. So just replacing the dynamical variables r and p with their corresponding operators, you can see that we may find the corresponding operator to an observable. So let f of rp, f of r and p, which depends on the position r and momentum p. Can be represented in quantum mechanics as an operator by simply replacing R and P by the corresponding operators. What does we have learned in this line? Actually, if an expression, or you can say if a function which is a function of position and momentum is given, and we have to find actually the operator associated with that function, then how we can find the operator corresponding to that very function? There is a simple technique in quantum mechanics that we will simply replace the dynamical variables R and P by their corresponding operators, and then you will see that we will get the corresponding operator for the given function. So what does it mean? It means we are given a function f of R and P. This will be simply replaced by the corresponding operators. In fact, you know the operator corresponding to position R, we write it by capital R, and the operator corresponding to linear momentum P, we will write it as capital P hat. And we also know that position vector R, the operator corresponding to position vector R is simply R hat, and the operator corresponding to momentum or linear momentum is actually minus IH cross del. So if we will replace these dynamical variables R and P by their corresponding operators capital R hat and capital P hat, or you can say capital R hat and minus IH cross del, then actually we will get the corresponding operators for the given function f of R and P. Let us take an example to illustrate this very important fact. We will take the example of a quantity which is actually the Hamiltonian of the system. You know, a Hamiltonian of a system is how defined? You can see Hamiltonian of a system. Hamiltonian of a system is defined as, you can see this H is actually defined as T plus V. Here actually T is the kinetic energy and V is the potential energy. So T is kinetic energy and V is potential energy. And you know this T is actually equal to 1 over 2m, where m is mass of the particle, P square, P is linear momentum of the particle, and plus V of R and T. V of R and T. So in this manner, we actually define the Hamiltonian operator. Now if we want to find the operator corresponding to this Hamiltonian, so you have learned that we will simply change the dynamical variables in this expression by the corresponding operator. So if we want to find the operator corresponding to this Hamiltonian H, we will simply replace this P square and this V of RT, which is actually a real function, by their corresponding operators. So you can see the operator corresponding to Hamiltonian, or you can simply say Hamiltonian operator corresponding to Hamiltonian, H. We will write Hamiltonian operator as H hat, and as you have learned that here in quantum mechanics we do not treat the mass as an observable, it is just treated as a parameter. Similarly, time is also treated as a parameter, so never think about the operator associated with the mass and time. They are simply parameters, and that will remain even in the expression of operator same as it was in the expression for the dynamical variables. So now this will be what? You know the operator associated with the momentum P is minus IH cross del. So actually the operator associated with this momentum operator's square, this is actually equal to a square of this much, and so that will be minus H cross square del square. So Hamiltonian operator will be written as minus H cross square over 2m del square and plus this V of RT. You can see here actually this V is in fact a real function of position and time, and so to find the operator corresponding to this function, we simply replace the position, which is actually an observable, by the corresponding operator capital R hat. But t is simply a parameter, so t remains same. We will not change this. So this is actually the Hamiltonian operator, and you have learned how we can find the Hamiltonian operator if we know the definition or the expression for the Hamiltonian of the system. Actually, in this expression, you can see that this del square is actually known as Laplacian operator. You know it. This del square is called Laplacian operator. And Laplacian operator. And you know in Cartesian coordinate how this del square is defined. This is defined as del 2 by del x square plus del 2 by del y square plus del 2 by del z square. This is the definition of Laplacian operator in Cartesian coordinates. Actually, in different coordinate system, it is defined in different manner. This is the simplest coordinate system, that is Cartesian coordinate system, in which Laplacian operator is defined in this manner. So this is in Cartesian coordinates. Cartesian coordinates. Now you can see that from equation 1 we can simply find the operators associated with the kinetic energy and the potential energy. In fact, the first term in RHS of equation 1 is actually the operator associated with kinetic energy, and the second term is the operator associated with the potential energy in accordance with the definition of Hamiltonian, because you know the Hamiltonian is T plus V. So from this we can define the operators corresponding to kinetic energy and potential energy. So operators corresponding to kinetic energy and potential energy are what? If we denote the operator corresponding to kinetic energy by T hat, then what is this T hat? This will be minus H cross square over 2m del square. And you can see the operator corresponding to the potential energy, that is V hat. This is simply equal to V of R hat T. This is the operator corresponding to the potential energy. Now, as we know, the operator associated with the linear momentum, and from that you can find the operator corresponding to velocity. As we know, this linear momentum P is equal to mass times velocity, and so from here we can say that this velocity is equal to P over m. And therefore, if we write the operator corresponding to the velocity V as in this manner, this is V hat, what will be that? You can see the operator corresponding to the linear momentum is minus IH cross del, and since mass is just a parameter, so it will remain same. So the velocity vector operator is defined in this manner. So you can see that if we know the expression, or simply the classical expression for any dynamical variable, then replacing the dynamical variables by the corresponding operator, we can find the operator associated with that observable in quantum mechanics. One thing here is very important. You can see from this equation 1, where we have actually defined the Hamiltonian operator, you can see from that definition that in fact you have learned in the previous chapter that the momentum operator P hat is a Hermitian operator. And so if the potential V of RT is a real function, then definitely in accordance with this equation, we can say that the Hamiltonian operator is also a Hermitian operator. So as P hat is a Hermitian operator, and if V of RT is a real function, then according to the definition of Hamiltonian defined in equation 1, you can see that this H hat, that is Hamiltonian operator, will be also a Hermitian operator. This is a Hermitian operator. So operator is in fact always defined corresponding, the operator which is defined corresponding to a dynamical variable or observable is definitely a Hermitian operator. And or you can say that we have already studied the eigenvalues of Hermitian operators are real. You have actually explained this fact in the previous chapter, that eigenvalues of Hermitian operators are real. And so the spectrum of the Hamiltonian, which consists of the entire set of eigenvalues, must be real. And this spectrum of the eigenvalues may be discrete, it may be continuous, or even it may be a mixture of both the discrete eigenvalues and the continuous eigenvalues. In fact, we will see in case of bond states, when we deal with the problem like a particle in a box, that is a bond state problem, then you will see that the Hamiltonian has discrete spectrum of values. But in case of the unbound system, like the problem of the step potential or the barrier penetration, we will see that the spectrum of the Hamiltonian is actually, the eigenvalue spectrum of the Hamiltonian is in fact continuous. So these Hermitian operators may have in fact bound state and unbound state, and in that case the spectrum of the eigenvalues may be actually discrete and continuous. And as I have told you, that may be also a mixture of the discrete and the continuous eigenvalues. So let us write the important facts actually which we have mentioned here. We have seen that since P is a Hermitian operator, and if we take this potential function V of RT as a real function, then the definition of Hamiltonian in fact indicates that H will be also a Hermitian operator. Now the eigenvalues of Hermitian operators are in fact real. Hermitian operators are real, and these real eigenvalues of a Hermitian operator may be discrete, it may be continuous, or it may be a mixture of both. It means it may be a mixture of both discrete and continuous eigenvalues. And as I have told you, in case of bound state potential, eigenvalues of Hamiltonian operator H are discrete, or you can say this form a discrete spectrum. And in case of unbound state potential, potential, the eigenvalues of Hamiltonian operator are continuous. In fact, in classical mechanics, we also study the bound and unbound state of the system. And for example, you can say that these variables R and P, this may have continuous spectra, because in this case the operator R and P actually has continuous spectra, because the observable corresponding to these operators R hat and P hat, which is actually the position R and momentum P, actually these take the continuous values. And so in fact in classical mechanics in general, the variables have actually the continuous values. And so this is the difference between the quantum mechanical observable and the classical observable, that in classical mechanics in general the values of the variables are continuous, but in quantum mechanics the values of the observables may be continuous or it may be discrete. So we have seen how we can find the operator corresponding to a given observable if you know the expression for the observable. Then we simply replace the different observables by the corresponding operator, and after that we simply get the corresponding operator for the given observable. And one thing here is remarkable, that mass and time are taken as parameter, and so we do not define any operator corresponding to mass and corresponding to time. Now you know the Hamiltonian actually represents the total energy. So in fact the operator corresponding to Hamiltonian, which we have just defined, is also the expression for the total energy. But in that case we say that if Hamiltonian is time independent, or our system is in fact time independent, then total energy operator will be simply as we have defined the operator for the Hamiltonian. But in case of time dependent system, the operator associated with the energy, that is for Hamiltonian, is different. So you can see here an important example, that for time dependent system, the operator associated with energy, this is given as H hat equal to I H cross del T. Actually this comes from the time dependent Schrodinger equation, which is actually given as H psi is equal to E psi. This is actually the, or you can say H ket psi equal to E ket psi. So if we want to replace, and this is also written as H hat psi ket psi equal to I H cross del psi by del T. So you can see At the place of this energy, there is IH cross del del T, because psi is in fact present at both positions. So the time dependent Hamiltonian is, or you can say the, in case of time dependent system, the operator associated with energy is given in this manner, IH cross del del T. Similarly, we will see the operator associated with the orbital angular momentum. Actually, we will see this operator in detail, or you can say that our aim is to find what will be the operator corresponding to the orbital angular momentum. Let us take just it as an example. So, and from this example, we will also learn how we can find the operator corresponding to an observable in quantum mechanics. So I am writing this example in just a question form, that find the operator representing the classical orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum. So in this example, we have to find the operator corresponding to the orbital angular momentum. And as you know, if we want to find the operator corresponding to this dynamical variable orbital angular momentum, we will simply write the classical expression for the orbital angular momentum, and then we will simply replace the variables in that expression by the corresponding operators. So you know, if a particle is moving in space and relative to some origin, let us say O, the position of the particle at any moment t is r, and at that time the linear momentum of the particle is p, which is actually equal to mv. In that condition, we define the orbital angular momentum of the particle by simply the cross product of r and p. So the orbital angular momentum of a particle with position r and linear momentum p is defined as, you know how this orbital angular momentum, which is represented here by capital L, this is actually defined as r cross p. So see this expression. If we want to find the operator corresponding to this quantity capital L, which is orbital angular momentum, what we will do? We will simply replace this quantity, that is position r, by the corresponding operator, which is represented by the capital R hat, and we will also replace this momentum p by the corresponding operator. So the operator corresponding to this capital L. This will be written as L hat. And what will be this? As you know, the operator corresponding to position R is written by capital R hat and cross, and the operator associated with momentum vector P, this is actually, you know, minus IH cross del. And so the operator corresponding to orbital angular momentum vector L is written as minus IH cross R hat cross del. So you can see how easily we find the operator corresponding to an observable if we know the operator corresponding to all the dynamical variables existing in the expression for that observable. Now from this definition of the operator of corresponding to orbital angular momentum, we can also find the operators corresponding to different components, that is x, y and z components of the orbital angular momentum. So let us find it. So you know, in Cartesian coordinate, the position r of the particle at any time t is given as xi plus yj plus zk. You know, this x, y, z are Cartesian coordinates or the position coordinates of the particle. I, j and k are actually the unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. And now if we want to write this expression in operator form, or we want to write the position operator, then what will be this? You can see easily that this will be simply R hat, capital R hat. This is operator corresponding to position R, and this will be here x, y and z are actually the observables. So we will write simply the operators corresponding to it. So this is capital X hat I plus capital Y hat j plus capital Z hat k. This is the operator corresponding to position in Cartesian coordinates. And we also know this gradient operator del. This is defined in Cartesian coordinate in this manner. This is del x I plus del y j plus del z k. So to find the operator corresponding to the orbital angular momentum, let us see the definition of this operator. So as you know, this operator L hat we have defined just now. This is minus IH cross R hat cross del. So if you want to find this operator capital L hat, then you will have to evaluate this cross product R hat cross del. So now you can evaluate this. So R hat cross del. You can write this vector product in this manner. This is I j k, and this will be in fact x hat y hat z hat, and for del we will write del x del del y and del del z. Now you can see what will be this determinant. You can see easily this will be in fact y hat del del z minus z hat del del y I plus z hat del del x minus x hat del del z j and plus x hat del del y minus y hat del del x k. So from here we can write the expression for the operator corresponding to the orbital angular momentum. So therefore you can say this operator L hat in Cartesian coordinate we will write it in this manner. This is Lx hat I plus Ly hat j plus Lz hat k, and this will be actually equal to minus I h cross r cross del. But we have just evaluated here the operator r cross del, and so let us substitute this value. So this will be actually equal to minus I h cross, and instead of r hat cross del we will write y hat del del z minus z hat del del y I plus z hat del del x minus x hat del del z j and plus x hat del del y minus y hat del del x k. Now you can compare the x, y and z components of the operator in LHS and RHS. So in fact equating the operators for x component, y component and z component of the orbital angular momentum, you can see that this Lx hat, you can see in RHS at the place of Lx hat is this much minus IH cross y hat del del z minus z hat del del y. So we can write this as Lx hat equal to minus IH cross y hat del del z minus and z hat del del y. Again you know that this minus IH cross del del z, this is actually what? This is actually pz hat. So we can also write it in this manner. This is y hat pz hat and minus when we will multiply this minus IH cross by this much, so that will be in fact Z hat Py hat. Similarly, you can find Ly hat. For this we will equate actually the y components, and so this will be minus IH cross Z hat del x minus x hat del z, and you can write it as z hat px hat minus x hat pz hat. And similarly, Lz hat, what will be this? This will be minus IH cross x hat del y minus y hat del x, and you can write it as x hat Py hat minus y hat Px hat. So from this example, definitely now it will be very clear to you that how we can find the operator corresponding to a given observable. The simple technique is what? The technique is define the observable in classical manner. It means write the expression for the observable and then replace all the dynamical variables involving in that expression by the corresponding operator. We simply get the operator, or you can say the Hermitian operator corresponding to the given observable. So this was all about the second postulate of quantum mechanics. In next lecture, we will discuss the third postulate of quantum mechanics, which is actually very important, and it is related to measurement and eigenvalue